we only collaborate, we only cooperate to make sure that the liberation of our people is accelerated, so that we also bring back hope to our people, because Black and African people are hopeless because of we see there is rampant corruption, there is inept leadership. Basically, the country is leaderless. So the Azanian People's Organization and AZAPO and the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania are called upon by the plight of the African Black people to be able to stand up and try to see how we can collaborate in order to make sure that we accelerate the freedom and liberation of our people.
Yes, I think what's very, very important is, when we're talking about the signing of this declaration of cooperation, in what form is this cooperation between AZAPO and PAC envisaged?
Well, I think, Anayat, and viewers and listeners of Salam Media, without me having to let the metaphorical or proverbial cat out of the bag, I would rather say the press briefing of tomorrow will then be able to give us a roadmap, will then be able to give us the details and all the nuts and bolts that you would want to know about this particular declaration. What actually it entails, what will the pillars of this particular cooperation, declaration of cooperation be, in which aspects and which areas will the two organizations, AZAPO and the PAC, cooperate. So I think for now, what one can just do is just to whet the appetite of the viewers and obviously the media as well. But I can tell you right now that the information that will be shared by AZAPO and the PAC tomorrow in the press briefing is going to be earth-shattering, is what our people have been waiting for, is what this country has been waiting for. And we believe that one Azania, one nation, Israel to Africa, will become a reality tomorrow. The dream and vision of Stephen Bantu Biko and Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe will be realized as the sons and daughters of these two martyrs will tomorrow be able to chart a roadmap for the Azanian masses in this country.
Yes, and also I think why this is so relevant, and I'm actually just looking at the statement or the release that has been issued, talking about this event taking place during Black History Month. And, you mentioned the martyrs, you mentioned people like Robert Sobukwe as well. And this is extremely important, this is relevant, that it is taking place in this month of February.
Definitely, Amayat. I mean, I think you have got your finger on the pulse. Indeed, we felt that let us launch it during this significant month, the month of February, the month that indeed is Black History Month, but also the month which is the birthday month of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, but also the month of Onkgopotse Tiro. We know that Onkgopotse Tiro was the first activist within the liberation movements to be killed in exile. He was killed by a parcel bomb. And we felt what a significant month to be able to launch this, so that we invoke and we call upon the spirits of these two martyrs that were killed in 1978, Sobukwe, in 1974, Onkgopotse Tiro. So that we invoke these spirits to be able to work with us and be with us, and then say, here we are as the children of Sobukwe, the children of Onkgopotse Tiro, the children of Stephen Bantu Biko, who are saying, we are here to reclaim that which belongs to the African Azanian masses, the Black people. And indeed, we are saying the lives of African and Black people matter in this country. And we need to then stand up and show that indeed these lives matter by coming together, by seeing how we can cooperate in order to draw on the inspiration of these martyrs. I mean, if you look at what Prof. Sobukwe did for this country, he was the only prisoner, for instance, that basically even when he was in prison, he was isolated, unlike the other prisoners. When he was released, he was banished. Stephen Bantu Biko, the only prisoner that as a leader, instead of him being taken to Robben Island, he was killed because the system could not just contain, right, that black self-pride, that expression of you cannot turn me into what you want me to be. Whatever you want to do, I'm not going to conform. So we speak here about two prominent martyrs and leaders of the Azanian revolution who did not conform to the system, but who actually confronted the system, as we have seen on March 21st, what Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe did. And also, like I said, Stephen Biko, what he also did. And we will also know that when Stephen Bantu Biko was arrested together with Peter Jones, Cyril Peter Jones, we pray and hope that Allah shall cure him as he's going through sickness. Now, he was on a quest to try and unite the liberation movement forces. What in black consciousness in AZAPO we say black solidarity and black unity. So Stephen Bantu Biko got arrested and died on that quest. So coming together of the PAC and AZAPO in a collaborative fashion through this declaration that will be signed tomorrow is to make that statement, to say, let us draw on the building blocks and the foundations that were put in place by these particular martyrs and founding fathers of the PAC, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, and Stephen Bantu Biko of the Black Consciousness Movement of Azanian, which AZAPO is a logical evolvement of it as we are today. And also on Tiro, who basically is also a martyr and is also the person that inspires us as AZAPO.
Yes, how I noticed, you said confronting the system, and also in terms of the present government selling out the people of South Africa. And I think this is extremely important for us to understand, because for far too long, when one looks at South Africa, when one looks at the lot of the people of South Africa, they haven't improved. It hasn't changed. It is not what was envisaged through liberation, through the democracy in this country. And also looking at, you mentioned corruption, but also the direction or the trajectory that the country has actually headed in the last 20 odd years. And apart from just corruption, looking at the government, looking at the policies, looking at South Africa that has become even more capitalist than the capitalist nations themselves. Now, all of this has contributed to the dilemma and the dire situation that the country finds itself in. And that is the reason why we find that, we've become a state that has basically relied on a society that is now placing total reliance on handouts, on social welfare, but nothing has changed since we've attained democracy, except for a few, I would say, token gestures that have come through on the part of the government.
Anayat, I think you are right. I think your analysis is spot on. What we are seeing, and that's what we've always been saying as AZAPO, and we are seeing the manifestation of what we term as AZAPO bourgeois democracy, a democracy that generally is quasi, is false, anchored on a constitution that basically promises black masses, the African masses, generally a utopia. In a sense, this constitution offers black people a mirage. The closer you seem to get to what you want, the further it moves away. That is basically what is happening. What we are seeing now is actually the exposition. Look, the lie of 1994 is being exposed. The CODESA talks lie is being exposed. The viewers and listeners of Salam Media will remember that AZAPO is the only liberation component that actually boycotted this dispensation in 1994. We said then, and we are saying now, that such a dispensation will never yield anything that is workable for our people, simply because we felt that the scales were not balanced. Secondly, the basis on which the negotiations were held were false. It was a false narrative. What happened was a compromise. It then therefore means that when black people, the ANC in particular and other forces negotiated, they negotiated from a position of weakness. Because, firstly, we said as AZAPO, they are non-negotiables. Have they gone into non-negotiables that we talked about? You'll remember, Anayat and the viewers and listeners of Salam Media, that AZAPO was kicked out from what was called a patriotic front, because we said we cannot become patriots with people from, which is now currently the DA, but by then I think it was with Zeg de Beer, the DP or something. Those cannot be patriots. People from the homelands cannot be patriots, right? We called for a patriotic front that will basically have one role only, and that was to come up with a constituent assembly. And our constituent assembly will then have to come up with a constitution. We will then say, once you do that, the foundations of the dispensation will then therefore be anchored on the fundamentals of the struggle for liberation in this country, which is land repossession, which is a socialist-oriented economic system, basically, right? And we have then seen that those two are not there. And as a result, you are correct. I mean, the economy is capitalist. I mean, listen to what the president said. And we said as AZAPO in the pre-SONA analysis, we said, for us, we are going to listen to the old song. And it's a scratched song, because it's always promises and promises, nothing happens. There is nowhere where the president will come and say, in 2020, we promised you the following. We were able to achieve X number of them, and W number we could not. We are working on them. Instead of getting that, we get promises and promises. And listen to this, Anayat. The president says the state cannot become an employer. It cannot produce jobs. But on the other hand, we then see the rampant corruption in terms of the SOEs, the issue of jobs for pals, the issue of tenders for pals. It has just come out that the erstwhile estranged and disgraced Minister of Health, right, in the PIC, I mean, those are investments of workers. Because the fundamentals and the principles of this economy are capitalist. Even genuine looking initiatives like the PIC can be manipulated because of the economic system. And finally, we then say, because of this bourgeois democracy, it's a democracy and a constitution that works for the elite. It doesn't work for the people. And that's not what the struggle is about. Now, AZAPO and the PEC said, we have realized that. We have recognized that. And we know as AZAPO, we are an extra parliamentary party for now. We are not in power, but we say come 2024, Black people will be able to know what to vote for. We are then saying as a PEC and AZAPO, we want to practically show the voting Black masses that they've been hoodwinked, that they've been sold a mirage all the time. Now, they need to know that they must use their vote wisely and vote for these organizations, right, that are getting into a declaration of cooperation tomorrow, because we are now coming on the ground. You are going to see an AZAPO and a PC that is on the ground, that is going to take on issues of Black people. You'll see now in the background, the t-shirt that I'm wearing, it says Relionize AZAPO. Now we've got a campaign called #Relionize AZAPO, which is the vision of this newly elected leadership of AZAPO under President Takema, which says that let the brave vanguard of the oppressed masses awaken. Let that bravery come out. Let us be able to confront the problems as they are. We say, once a Religionized AZAPO wakes up, the land thieves and the racists and the elite that have compromised our people must start running, because we are going to expose them for who they are, and we are going to reclaim that which belongs to the African and Black masses as AZAPO. And we say with the PAC, in this declaration of cooperation, we will tomorrow outline what are the areas of cooperation, what are the kinds of issues that we are going to engage in as these two organizations and move together with our communities.
Well, Carl, thank you very much for that. Unfortunately, time has run out. I know there's a lot more you and I can discuss on this particular issue, but I see this is taking place tomorrow, which is February the 18th, 2022, 12 p.m. at the City Lodge Hotel, OR Tambo International Airport, and sees the declaration of cooperation between AZAPO and the PAC. Carl, thank you very much for that and for your time with us this morning. We wish you all the best, sir. Please take care.
No, thank you very much. The signing will be at the Garden Court, not the City Lodge anymore. It's the Garden Court Hotel at the OR Tambo International Airport. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Amandla.
All the best. Take care. Away to. Well, that was Gaontebale Nodoba joining us this morning, and we're going to go for a quick break. We come back. We will be joined by Imtiaz Sayed. It is the time of the week where we bring you eThekwini Secure. And also, I think what is important for us to understand is the level of cooperation between AZAPO and the PAC. We will try and get a lot more information after the event tomorrow as to what the level of cooperation is and what are some of the key issues or specific issues that they will be discussing when they sign this this declaration of cooperation between the two organizations. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll be back.